Hello, everybody. Welcome to our spin-off show, Arse, which is where we audibly...
Brilliant. Can't even read out the name. Audibly Recap Significant Events.
There we go. Arse, audibly recapping significant events. Great start. That sort of sets the caliber of this spin-off show. Once again, I'm joined by Dave, the racing lineup, Ellis, for ramblings of two madmen into microphones and distributed across the internet. How are you, Dave?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And the one I've been wanting to ask you about for a little while was your fat trip to Austria. But before you tell me that, it's like I didn't realize for a little while that fat ice and the ice at San Marie were different events.
Different. Yeah.
Not only different events on the same day.
Well, they don't help themselves by having it on the same day.
No, that's not the best.
No, I had a lot of confusion from people who messaged me and said, "Oh, I'm at San Moritz. I'll see you there." And I had to go, "No, I'm in Austria. You're in Switzerland."
Yeah.
But it's just unfortunate that two snowy, ice-based activities were run on the same weekend. Apparently, it's the second year that that's happened as well. So I don't know if it's deliberate, but it seems to be a weird choice.
It does seem to be a weird choice because there's enough people with enough money who would happily go to both and would
Well, some
road
people
trip
do
between
both.
them as well.
So the San Moritz is Friday and Saturday. So some people were doing San Moritz and then driving through to Austria for the fat on
that's a
Saturday.
life goal, that one.
So that was quite cool. I didn't do that, but maybe that's one for next year. If I get a car, a press car next year, because no one wanted to give me one this year.
That's all right. I'll have a 911 by that point. I can road trip in my car.
Yeah, I won't have to do it in an Opel Grandland from Enterprise in Munich Airport, but awful car. I talk about the Opel in my fat piece that'll be in issue 3 of Slicks Mag, which releases in April 2026. Pre-order now.
Can we do car reviews as well?
I think
because if you're going to review the Opel
should.
Grandland, at some point I need to give you my thoughts on a Kia something that I drove in Spain because it was one of the worst vehicles I've ever driven despite being brand new. So we need to do car review episodes.
7-year warranty.
I could have a 70-year warranty for all I care. I never want to sit in one again. It was awful.
So yes, Austria. I booked a rental car to pick up from Munich Airport, which has many layers to this story, as we'll get into. But when I booked it, the image was a Volkswagen T-Roc, and it said a small compact SUV was the description. It said you can either get a T-Roc, a Qashqai, or similar. So in my head, that was, okay, so I'm getting a Dacia then.
I mean, I would have preferred a Dacia if I'm completely honest.
Or sorry, Dacia. It's Dacia, isn't it?
It's Dacia, let's be honest.
It's Dacia. Good news!
The term small SUV describes about 90%. That's 90% of the cars on the road now, unfortunately, isn't it? They're all. Have you ever been on the Ford website recently? They only do small SUVs. They don't actually have any other vehicles anymore.
They narrowed it down to car.
Yeah. It's like you're getting a motorized vehicle.
You get. So when I got there and they said, "Is an Opel all right?" I thought, I can't. I've come from England where Vauxhalls are everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm given a rebadged Vauxhall. They've rebadged it. It's like Alan Partridge and his Mini Metro. They've rebadged it.
I like that they asked, "Is an Opel all right?" in the same way that when you ask for Coke, they go, "Is Pepsi all right?" Because you just know that the person is not okay with that. But you don't have a choice because
they're
that's
not the same drink. It's a different beverage.
Exactly.
It literally happened to me. Last night I was at a Pink Floyd tribute act in Wakefield.
Okay.
Which was very good. I enjoyed it. I don't know if you're into Pink Floyd, but...
not my thing, but I could appreciate the idea of them live would be an experience, so fair.
You're more Britney Spears man, aren't you?
Absolutely. Britney Spears and the Spice Girls, that's my time.
Yeah, yes. So, I was at a Pink Floyd tribute act and I asked for a Coke, a Diet Coke, and she went, "Is Pepsi Max all right?" And no human will ever say, "No, actually, that's not all right." They'll just go, "Yeah, that's fine," and just conform. And
There's definitely a marketing campaign there to be done by Coke about "Is Pepsi all right?" Because it's always the disappointing thing, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing is, no one's ever asking for Pepsi and they're going, "Is Coke all right?" It's always the other way, are they?
Exactly. It only ever happens one way,
"I'd
so
like a zesty Pepsi, please." And they go, "Well, we only have the better brand, so would you like it?" Better brand taste-wise, maybe not ethically or morally, but, um, yeah, I shouldn't have to be picking my drinks on political choices, but, welcome to
yeah.
2026. So, yeah, I got in my mighty Opel Grandland, which is absolutely enormous. Just it was
Is it?
parked next to a Golf, and it absolutely swamps the Golf. Um,
I don't actually
and it
know
was
what
left-hand
size
drive, obviously, because I was in Germany.
Opel
So
Grandland X. Oh, that thing is huge, isn't it?
it's massive. It's just it was a black box on wheels, which is
It
what a
is.
car is, but there was just no. I don't think the designer was in that day.
It's the most generic SUV possible, isn't it? Like, it has no personality, redeeming features, negative qualities. It's just an motor car.
It's and vehicle. So got in. Uh, First I went to the right-hand side of the car, which was my first error of many.
Fair.
Uh, Typical Brit. So absolutely enormous. Didn't have Apple CarPlay. Had Android Auto,
Oh, well, that's
which was
disappointing.
no use to me. Uh, and then the touchscreen was in Turkish. Presumably the previous users were Turkish. Um, not sure about you, but I don't know much Turkish. Um,
No, barely know enough
so I had
English, to
to
be
do
honest.
that stupid thing with your phone where you hold it and it
Yeah,
translates just so I could change it to English.
yeah,
Um, and then I had to use the awful Opel GPS built-in system to get me to Austria,
nice.
w- which you couldn't just type in, the hotel. It had to
Yeah,
be street, postcode, all of that good stuff. And the car was absolutely horrific to drive. It was made for someone presumably with one leg because there's nowhere to put your left leg.
nice.
So you had cramp in one leg. It had that stupid lane assist
Oh, I hate that.
nonsense that pulls you left and right, and you basically bouncing on the lines like a bowling ball.
Yeah, hate those
Um,
things. Did it beep at you for every speed limit?
Everything beeped me all for everything.
Yeah.
So my full extensive review of the Opel Grandland is baked into my Fat Ice sort of review thing that'll be in issue 3. But the trip itself, I had quite traumatic experience with in terms of travel because I had a 6:25 a.m. flight from Manchester,
So what time did you have to be in the airport for 6:25 flight?
probably about 4.
Nice.
So I left my house at 3
Mhm,
because it's roughly an hour and a quarter to Manchester.
mhm.
Dave's suddenly gone widescreen.
Why have I gone widescreen? What happened?
And he's not reacting. I don't
What
not absolutely
happened?
nothing happened, but I can suddenly oh
Oh god, has it just come back? Oh, it has.
yeah, yeah.
Excuse my
That
webcam.
that was like a Tarantino crash zoom just then.
That's what you need is me zoomed in
Y
and out constantly.
Um, so, yeah, I was up at 3, out of the house pretty soon, and off I went. Immediately realized I'd forgotten my jacket, so I did a
Nice.
U-turn in the road, just up the road from me, and came back. When I pulled back up in my house, I heard a hissing, and I thought, "Well, that sounds like air escaping, something." I
Where
thought,
do we keep air in cars,
yeah.
you know?
That sounds like pressurized air escaping from a small hole. Grabbed my jacket. I thought maybe the car's cold and warming up, which is utter bollocks. It was pure just
Yeah. Hope.
copium. I knew it
Yeah.
was probably tire related, but I just carried on. And then the tire pressure warning light came on about 15 minutes into the journey, the second journey from my house. At which point I was in Barnsley at 20 past 3 in the morning.
Mhm.
Uh, Pull over, and the rear left is a little bit flat, but nothing major. So I put some air in with one of those motorized 12-volt socket things at 20 past 3 in the morning. It's noisy. I'm like, what am I doing here? It's the middle of January, 3 a.m., and I'm putting air in a 1 litre Skoda in Barnsley. If this isn't living, I don't know what is.
This is the
Um,
glamorous side of
yeah,
producing Slicks magazine.
there you go. So the sweat and tears that and air that goes into making slicks. Um, so there was a tire joke somewhere there that I was trying to make, but I couldn't. So because air goes into yeah. Um,
You'll get it after we stop recording.
yeah. I'll add it in post. Um, so then it started getting really flat, and I had some of that foam shit that you spray in, and presumably, from what I googled at the side of the road at 25 to 4 in the morning, you spray it in and then drive immediately, and it basically goes to the inner wall of the tire and fills any holes. It didn't. It didn't do that. It did probably next to nothing. So
Mm,
at this point, I'm basically driving on the rim, and
nice.
it was noisy and uncomfortable, and the wheel was shaking like a shitting dog. It was horrible. So I had to just concede that I wasn't making it to the airport and pulled over in a lay-by on the Woodhead Pass, which you probably aren't familiar with, but it's a very twisty B road that leads from South Yorkshire to Manchester through the Peak District.
Nice.
So
It's
it's lovely and
scenic when you're
scenic.
yeah, yeah,
It's
when you're
lovely.
not broken down.
But at 4 a.m. in the snow, because it started snowing while I was there as well, uh, not ideal. RAC, they takes them 2 hours to get to me. They try ringing tire shops. Believe it or not, there are no tire shops open at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Oh,
Um,
who do? Can you not just order them on
yeah.
Just Eat or Deliveroo?
So I'm basically stuck there, and I just watched the clock tick away. The airline rings me up and says, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm in a lay-by on the Woodhead Pass." Then they basically said, "Well, you should be on this flight." I said, "Yeah, I'm not making that flight." They were great, and they moved me onto the next flight, but it was just a bit of a disaster. I got to the second flight with 10 minutes to spare, and that's only because that second flight was delayed.
Oh, you were really cutting it fine, even for
So,
2 flights.
yeah, it was a bit of a squeaky bum moment, and annoyingly, they get because the second flight was delayed, when they handed me my boarding pass, they went, "Oh, there's a £25 voucher to spend, because your flight's delayed." And I didn't even have time to spend that because I was cutting it so fine. So that was, a bag of M&Ms or something for £25 that I couldn't buy.
Get one of those terrible neck pillow things that everybody sits on when flights.
Yeah. So or an autobiography of Anne Widdecombe or something from W.H. Smith's.
I love that airports are just where you buy crap, and it's 4 times the price of anywhere else as well.
Yeah.
I've
If you
never
want a
needed one
book
of
that
those
you don't
neck pillows,
really
but then
know.
as soon as you're in an airport, you're like, "Oh, it's comfy. I fancy one
Yeah,
of
that
them."
looks really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I've always
Or like a
wanted to
12
read a
in
book.
1 cable that has like SCART lead and micro USB and all that on the end in case you need it. But
Yeah, but it
uh,
comes free with a book of a footballer that you've never heard of.
yeah, and they do really big Twix bars,
Oh,
like
they do, don't they?
Twix
Like,
Extra.
it's also the only place in the world that it's okay to buy Toblerone.
It's true. This is true.
Nobody walks into a Tesco and goes, "Oh, I get a Toblerone for a snack today." That's not something
No,
that happens.
but it is a customs gift, isn't it?
It is. It 100%
Yeah.
is. If you get a Toblerone from somebody who's been on holiday, it's because they bought it in the airport on the way back because they forgot
Yeah.
to buy you something.
Yes. And depending on whether the packaging is in your local language or the language of the country they were in, shows how forgetful they were. Uh, so I made the trip. It was fine. Uh, the full review of that event will be in the magazine, but it was very influencery.
It
Everyone who's anyone was there, and in some capacity or another, they were either in uh, a VIP section that was not allowed for scum, like me and you. Uh, we don't have enough followers, Dave. That's just the long and short of it.
well, one day we'll host our own event where we invite people.
Yeah,
Be fine.
the VIP section will just be me and you, and
Yeah,
we'll just look down on the peasants
it'll
from
be in a
this
frozen lake
platform.
in Barnsley or something, you know? It's a
It'll be
pond.
where I had my tire replaced. I'll host
Yeah, exactly.
the next year's event. So it was good. Yeah, from people I met there who went there last year said it it's got a little bit more corporate and more, they're inviting brands and these brands are allowed to have their own private spaces. So then there's this hierarchy that's sort of built, which isn't great for everyone. But yeah, it was fun. I saw some cars skidding on ice, and I had a German currywurst, which was very nice.
It's the the idea of it becoming more corporate is interesting because that's just motorsport in general, isn't it? It's like
It is.
as motorsport, and I'm including fat ice in this because although it's not really motorsport, it's motorsport adjacent and lifestyle adjacent as well. It's kind of a lifestyle motorsporty brand. As everything becomes more popular, it gets more corporate. Because like I've been attending Le Mans since 2003. I remember when the Forest S's were there was literally a forest there with
Mm,
no lighting, and if you stumbled across the wrong bit, you barbed wire you were climbing across because that's just what it was like. Whereas now there's a huge amount of fenced off areas and there's a lot of corporate stuff around. And, it's the downside of our sports becoming more popular and manufacturers being more interested in entering more series is that it does involve a lot more corporate stuff that us general fans are not part of, which is a shame. But it's you can't have one without the other. Really, you can't have F1 in its current state or Le Mans in its current state without that kind of thing. And I suppose Fat Ice, if it wants to survive and become the brand that it wants to become, it has to bring these corporate companies
yeah.
along to fit in. So it's a bit sad, but also that's the double edged sword here,
Yeah,
isn't
if
it?
the entrepreneur in me comes out, I'm like, okay, I get it. But as a fan, as a consumer, as someone who just wants to watch cool shit and experience the same thing that everyone can experience, that's where it kind of falls apart because there are just areas that I can't go in,
Yeah.
which is probably it's. I mean, it's how it's always been, I suppose, hasn't it? There's always been general admission tickets and grandstand tickets and things like that. But um, yeah, anyway, it was a good event. I'll probably go again next year, and I'll try and time it with the Saint Moritz in Switzerland as well and do both. That'll be cool.
That is two I would love to do,
Mm,
especially Samurais. I'd love to do that one. Um,
yeah.
Fat as well. Fat looked like a cool brand to be involved with.
Oh, yeah, very cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
very cool.
it, I like the way they do their socials. They've got a specific style, and I'm not really able to describe what it is, other than it looks very 80s, 90s. Like they
It does.
deliberately slightly overexpose stuff and use a flash so you get odd shadows and stuff like
I
that.
like it
But
though.
yeah, I really like it. Like, in theory,
Mm,
it's bad, but it's executed incredibly well, and I
and it
really like it.
fits. It
And
does fit.
I'm not a good design guy. I'm not good at design or marketing, but I could see when something is good design and good
Mm,
marketing, and I like to play with things a lot every so often. So Fat was one of the brands like, wonder if I could create something like that, not to use as like for the racing line or anything, but just to can I do something like that? Because I could see how good it is, and I can't. I don't know what it is that they're doing, but they are
because you're a
really,
one man
really
team,
good at it.
Dave.
I
I would love
am,
to do
but
it as well, but I just don't have that design
it's very, very
finesse.
well executed, and in theory, if you describe it, it sounds terrible, but
Mm,
because it's so well executed, it just comes off so well, so big fan of their brand and their style and the way they come across, so yeah, it's an event that's on my list to do one day, I think, 'cause Sam Moritz
next
and
year.
Fat would be brilliant.
Let's do it next year. So how are things with the racing line? What's going on in your world of app management and data entry and calendar scouring for the Singapore F4 regional British Championship.com?
It's been an interesting week actually because the F1's starting. So I obviously get a
Mm,
bit more attention when the F1's starting, but I don't get attention in the way that you'd think. You'd think people are trying to find times and how to watch things, and that's why I get attention. But a lot of the attention I've been getting is people who think I stream Formula One,
mm.
people who think that I am Sky Sports. And spoiler alert, I'm not. I'm just
No.
me. It's
Yeah.
just one guy, right, making an
Not an
app. So
alternative to F1 TV.
I'm not an alternative to F1 TV. My thing is, I think everybody should watch more motorsport. So I'm going to tell you where it is and how to watch it. And anything that's on YouTube, I'm going to embed so you can watch it there. But here is a review I got on March the 6th. So 2 days ago, as of day of recording this, you cannot watch F1 through this app in Thailand. 1 star. I'm like,
Ooh.
that's a bit harsh. Like,
I mean, they're not wrong. You can't watch F1 through the app in
they're
Thailand
not wrong,
or
but you
anywhere.
also can't order a McDonald's through it, so it's not a 1 star for that as well. And I never claim to be streaming the F1. In fact, when you open the app and you go through the onboarding, it tells you what series are streamed in the app and what aren't on the onboarding. It's got little camera icons beside the ones that you could watch. So I've tried to be as transparent about that as I possibly can, in that I'm not streaming these things. But I had a bunch of messages on Instagram asking me if I could do it as well, and a couple of Reddit messages asking me to do it. And it's actually taken quite a lot of time, surprisingly. So I, I'm not streaming the F1, and I don't think I ever will be streaming the F1 unless Sky buys the racing line and stream it through that, which seems a highly
Well,
unlikely
you
scenario.
know, Apple's the US provider of F1. Imagine if Sky don't renew the contract and it's the racing line.
That'd be amazing. The racing line on Apple TV, that's how you watch F1.
Yeah,
And
there are your
mine is
2 options.
99 pence a month, but
Yeah,
because it's just
yeah.
me, the running costs are really low, so it's fine. No, so like that's been one side of it. But the other thing that I've been working on, which it's almost ready, is I'm building an affiliate system, which is quite cool. That I'm hoping I'll get some influencers involved in. Hopefully, get me a bit of growth, because when you're, as you'll know, when you're a single person company doing single person things, growth is hard, man. Like you're too busy working on the product. Like you're working on Slicks. Actually, marketing Slicks is essentially a full time job for somebody
Mm,
else. But there is nobody else. And I'm the same. I'm sitting working on the racing line and building everything that needs to happen. Like actually marketing it is hard. So I think I'm only maybe a week away or so from launching that, but I'm hoping that brings a bit of growth. I don't think it's going to be anything like dramatic, but it will hopefully start bringing in some money that means I can actually improve the app a little bit, because it is quite expensive to run as well. So that's been my week with it. I've had a lot of requests for new series, a lot of series that I've never heard of, which are totally valid series. It's just that they never come across them. A lot of South American stuff. I presume
mm.
that somebody has posted the app somewhere in a South American subreddit or forum or Facebook group or
That's good
something.
though.
And now I'm getting a bunch of requests for some pretty
Where are
cool
your big
looking.
markets? I presume the UK and US are your biggest?
They're the two biggest. US is about 50% of my users.
Really?
25% is the US, and then the UK, and then everybody else is spread out, remaining 25%. Part of that's probably because the US and the UK are the biggest motorsport markets, but also the app is currently only available in English, so it does kind of limit it
Mm,
to English-speaking users. I do plan to add more languages later, but again, as a single-person company, it's really hard to be like, okay, I'm going to spend time on translating this to French, especially when you don't
yeah,
speak French. I don't want to do a bad job and Google Translate it and get it wrong. I want to
because
hire somebody
say
to do it properly?
Indonesia, they're absolutely bike mad. You know, it
Yeah, they
could
are,
do
aren't they?
really well for things like MotoGP, timings and things like that, but you don't speak those languages.
Yeah, and it's the same with all of them. It's like, even if I Google Translate it, it's not gonna be the same. They're gonna be able to tell it's a bad translation,
Mhm.
and I don't like to do half-arsed jobs. If I'm gonna do something, it's gonna be done properly. So I'd love to add more languages, but it might just have to wait because there's other stuff to do. So I'm hoping that the affiliate system that I'm working on will launch next week. Maybe by the time you've heard this, don't know. Um, and that'll hopefully bring enough income that I could actually sit and develop these things. Maybe I can get a contractor in to help me with these things, hire a French translator, hire a German translator for a day to go through the app, something like that, work out all the technical aspects, because just being a one person company is hard, man. It's
I
been
thought you were gonna
5
say
years of doing this.
hire a French person, just generally.
Yeah. I was actually wondering that. It's like, do you hire a translator or do you hire a motorsport fan? Because it's going to be
Mm,
very specific, isn't it?
it's a good question.
The word session, because we understand what a session is, qualifying practice races, is going to be the different. Well, the word practice is a free practice session going to be the same as practice when somebody who's not a motorsport fan translates it? What about
Mm.
the word free? We call it free practice because back in the day there used to be paid and free practice. So that's where that came from. In some series, there still is paid and free practice. So, like, does that translate correctly? Like, I don't know. So, like, I might end up hiring
You're
just a
getting me giddy
motorsport
because
fan.
my education background is linguistics, so that is
Oh,
just
really?
yeah, that's me all over that. You know, the pragmatics and all the different meanings and things like that. That's me all over. I can't answer your question because I don't know, but it would interest me to find out.
I I think that's one of the things that I should actually I should go on like a subreddit and just be like, does anybody here speak French? Like, can
Mm.
you translate this app for me and see what happens? Because if they can read the subreddit in English, they'll probably be good at translating and know what my intentions are. I think that's a lot of it, isn't it? Because motorsport is a really weird, geeky sport, really. It's like really odd with specifics and terms.
Yeah.
So I'll probably hire somebody motorsport related, pay them a bit of money to go through all the app, but then I've got to do that for every language. But I
There's
also
quite a
need
few languages in the world.
but I also need to do that. I also need to do the technical side of that because right now it's all kind
Mm.
of hard coded in, and turns out programming was harder than I thought it was, and I should have
No,
accounted for
stop
this when
it.
I started. So I know. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of requests, which is great. I'm getting a lot of attention, which is great, but it does need to ramp up a little bit so that I can start doing more. There's so many ideas that I want to do that I'm just time and money limited by it, unfortunately. But hey, small business stuff, isn't it?
It is indeed. I'm working with somebody in Japan on something in issue 3, which is to be announced. And they asked if the magazine will be in Japanese. I'd love to offer it in multiple languages, but that is just not financially feasible
No,
because I would maybe sell 10 in Japan
yeah. Even
initially. And, just the cost of printing it and getting it translated and things like that.
even just getting it over to Japan, and because
Mm.
it's not just the mag, the website's then got to be in Japanese as well.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, yeah,
payment
absolutely.
processing's got to be in Japanese, and your marketing probably has to include other languages, and that's just really hard. Like, when you start doing marketing, you start realizing why big companies have marketing teams. Like, it's
Mm.
not just 1 or 2 people doing Instagram posts, it's a team of people doing dedicated stuff,
What you
you
mean
know?
me boosting an Instagram post isn't marketing?
I mean, apparently it is. It's the racing line won an award based off of what was it they said? A marketing campaign, and I'm like, I've barely got an Instagram, mate.
I was listening back to um, the first episode of Arse, and you were mentioning how they teased the nominees, um, and it was brand of the year. This was the brand who had the best uh, marketing campaign and rollout,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure I remember you saying to me, "Well, that wasn't in the
No,
application. Like they've
wasn't in
added
there at
that."
all.
Yeah, and then you won it. So yeah, maybe having a video put together by someone who knows what they're doing is marketing, and that's all you need to do.
It's kind of the very basics of it, I suppose, isn't it? It's like it's better than absolutely nothing, but it's barely anything. But I think you're probably the same as me. Is if Slicks could cover the cost, you would hire somebody to actually market it because that's where growth is. And
100%.
yeah, I
I
don't want
mean,
to
I've
turn
just
the
paid for somebody to make me some videos for this issue 3 rollout, and they are a million times better than anything I would ever been able to have made.
fantastic videos. It's like you really see the quality of a good professional when when somebody really knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. It's like I know that you're saying it's like it's was it B-roll clips that you got
Mm.
given as well. But even the B-roll clips, like the raw content quality is good, and then the
Yeah.
editor has taken these good
At
clips and
all
made something
points of the
incredible.
journey, it's
Yeah,
been filmed amazingly, and then it's been graded well,
yeah,
and then it's been edited well to music for the right format, and the whole journey has just been done with such care. And if it was me, it would be me with a phone,
yeah, yeah,
and it would look like Arse,
yeah.
which is the name of this episode.
Yeah, so maybe that's what we should do is like this
Yeah,
episode is ours. But I
it
know
is
what you mean
Arse.
because like we're going to the British GT Media Day later this month, and I want to film content there. But it's just going to
Mm.
be me with an iPhone. It's not going to look as good as anything that you've got from your gentleman that you just mentioned. So, like the stuff is hard. So I need to go and find a professional that I can afford to take some photos and videos of some cars when we're at Silverstone. I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, but this isn't a pity party podcast, which is lovely alliteration, but we're not here
It's
to complain about how hard it is. We're
No, it's just it's the realities of trying to do a startup small business, isn't it? Like don't get me wrong, it's like sitting complaining about how difficult it is, but also I would not rather be doing anything else. This is what I'd rather
exactly.
be doing. and it's opened some amazing doors. Got to meet some awesome people. You went to Austria, you went to Norway. Like, that's just awesome. I've been
My
to too
baggage
many
didn't, but
racetracks to get, yeah, your baggage didn't, but you got there, your belongings didn't.
I got
I've,
there. My pants didn't.
it's all right.
Yeah,
Inside
my
out,
pants had a
reverse.
holiday to Terminal 2 departures in Manchester, but
Yeah. So like it's difficult, but it's rewarding. It's so much fun. It's so rewarding, and you know it'll pay off eventually. So yeah, it's good, really.
it is good. And I also think that's a good place to leave Arse there, unless you have any AOB. Arse AOB? Question mark.
Nah, I think that's me done for Arse. I think, which is a
Yeah,
great sentence.
that's enough Arse for today, I think. So, so yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What we doing? Anyway,
yeah.
thank you for listening to Arse episode 2. Check out F1 for Thickos, F1 for Thickos Part 2, and maybe when you're listening to this, there's also WRC for Thickos. That's in the works. But if not, in the meantime, you can check out the Racing Line app and Slicks Magazine issue 3 and enjoy all of that good stuff. Keep track of your racing and have a read of some independently told stories about motorsport. What else could you ask for? Dave, thank you very much for arsing about.
Oh God, you're milking this one. Yeah, yep. It was a good
Yeah,
one. See you next time.
yeah. See you later.